St. Kitts defends its economic citizenship program amid a call for an end to the country's visa-free access to the European Union. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Thursday, May 30th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris has defended the island's Citizenship by Investment CBI program, even as he said its reputation is being damaged because of actions taken by the previous administration. Earlier this month, two members of the European Parliament wrote to the European Union Commission and the President of the European Council calling for the termination of the visa-free status program afforded to St. Kitts and Nevis citizens. The parliamentarians outlined a number of instances of abuse of St. Kitts and Nevis CBI program allegedly committed under the Denzel Douglas administration. The MPs noted that the situation got so bad that in 2014, Canada revoked visa-free access for citizens of the Twin Island Federation. At a press conference on Wednesday, Prime Minister Harris said that shortly after assuming office, his government undertook a comprehensive overhaul of the CBI program, which led to it receiving rave international reviews and being labeled as the platinum standard of the citizenship industry.
In the context of the foregoing, we are very disappointed that two members of the European Parliament would have written a letter to the EU Commission and the President of the European Council to request scrutiny of our program without a scintilla of evidence of any wrongdoing by anyone in our program. They relied largely on the misdeeds of the former Douglas regime and the inaccurate claim that a Russian citizen of interest to law enforcement agencies was an economic citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis way back in 2014. It is not a good reflection of the reliability and seriousness of members of the European Parliament that they should seek punitive action against any entity without giving the accused the benefit of due process and natural justice, and without regard for the consequence of their ill-informed letter, not just for the viability of our program, but for all programs in the region.
The Prime Minister called on the two European parliamentarians to recall their letter and to apologize to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis and the region. The Antigua and Barbuda and Suriname governments could be partnering to acquire a cargo vessel to help boost intra-regional trade in a possible first step for a regional maritime transportation system. Prime Minister of the Twin Island nation, Gaston Brown, made the disclosure on Wednesday on day 2 of his 3-day official visit to Suriname. He said he and host President Daisy Bouterse had spoken extensively about engaging CARICOM in providing some form of sustainable transportation system within the region to move goods and people.
The President has invited Antigua and Barbuda to partner with Suriname in acquiring an additional boat. I'm told that the People's Republic of Suriname has acquired a cargo boat recently, and we're now looking at the possibility of partnering with the Republic of Suriname in order to acquire another. And this could well be the catalyst for the start of a regional maritime transportation system. We also have with us the Caribbean Development Fund, or appropriately the CARICOM Development Fund, and we have asked them to look at the possibility of providing funding so that we can have an effective maritime transportation system within the region, so that we can move goods from Jamaica in the north to Suriname, Guyana in the south. And we believe that there's a real possibility that they would be able to come up with the necessary resources. We evidently will have to conduct the necessary studies to determine the type of ships that we could operate profitably, and at the same time resolve that long outstanding issue of having adequate transportation.
Prime Minister Brown was speaking following the signing of an agreement that will serve to finance a development program between the two nations. The $1.6 million agreement signed with the CARICOM Development Fund, CDF, will finance elements of the country's assistance program for Antigua and Barbuda and will also support cooperation with Suriname. Brown told reporters that based on his country's need for food security, the partnership with Suriname will be crucial to helping increase production capacity.
We've already decided to purchase a number of black belly sheep in order to replenish our sheep stock on Antigua, as well as coconut seedlings. During the last decade and a half, we lost most of our coconut palms due to illegal yellowing. So there's an absolute need for us to import thousands of seedlings, coconut seedlings, in order to replenish our coconut palms. We also expect to collaborate with you in replenishing our citrus fruits to make sure that we can provide for the needs of the tourism industry, especially in Antigua and Barbuda, and certainly the needs of our locals.
The Antiguan leader said there are also opportunities for entrepreneurs in Suriname as investments amounting to over $2 billion have led to the construction of several tourism properties in his country. Trinidad and Tobago's finance minister and the central bank are not on the same page as far as the cost of accommodating Venezuelan migrants in the country is concerned. Minister Com Imbert said he does not agree with the central bank's estimate of spending 620 million TT dollars per year. That's the cost Central Bank Governor Dr. Alvin Hilaire had given on Tuesday at the Financial Stability Report launch. But on Wednesday, at the post-cabinet press briefing, Imbert, who is also acting as Prime Minister, said he was surprised at that figure, and he said he's uncertain how the central bank arrived at it.
Still early because the situation, the registration is just going to start and so forth, but we try to look at everything very clearly and precisely and in a forward-looking manner. So that is why we are examining the Venezuela situation.
The nation was shocked when Central Bank Governor Dr. Alvin Hilaire made this declaration on Tuesday. Apparently, it shocked the acting Prime Minister as well. He read out statistics from the UNHCR Refugee Agency. They've registered 12,257 Venezuelans in this country applying for asylum. And for 2019, 502 Venezuelans have overstayed their visas. Imbert says he believes the central bank's figures are tied to the number of Venezuelans, which would have access to all of our social services, including education and housing. But that's not what they're getting with this registration.
The figures show that in 2019, the numbers that are coming are very small, and therefore, if there was any impact, and we don't believe there is any, it would have occurred in 2018, 17, and 16, and it cannot possibly impact on the 2020 budget. So that was a very unfortunate statement made by the central bank. It is not scientific. It is not based on any facts. It is not based on any known formula, and it is based on a number of wrong assumptions.
The central bank governor also said government can access funds from international aid organizations to help with the situation. There were rumors government was already planning to. Imbert says there's no plan to do so.
Because we believe we can handle our own situation. We do not require international aid at this point in time.
That report from Kijan Haynes of TV6 News. Meantime, the registration for Venezuelans in Trinidad and Tobago beginning Friday. With that happening, Imbert sought to assure immigrants that the process is no attempt to trap them.
Not trick or a trap or anything sinister at all. It is the opposite. We're simply trying to legalize persons who are currently illegal. We're trying to make something that is wrong, make it right. There's no trap here. We have no sinister motives whatsoever.
And Acting National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines, who was also at the press conference, further urged Venezuelans, whether they're in the country illegally or illegally, to ensure they are registered. He said successful registration would make life better and much easier for Venezuelans living in Trinidad and Tobago.
It will accord those who are registered with the right to be here undisturbed and unperturbed by anyone. It will protect them from, it will permit them to work for 1 year, and in so doing will prevent them from being abused by potential abusive employers. And in those work experiences, the employers would be expected to comply with the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, particularly in relation to minimum wage and that sort of thing. And it will allow the government of Trinidad and Tobago to know for certain how many Venezuelans we have here, and to be able to make arrangements for basic health care and emergency health care as we have promised in this arrangement.
The registration process ends on June 14th. Coming up in Caribbean Newsline, the ECCB becomes the first central bank in the Caribbean to issue an entire family of currency notes on polymer. That story and more when we return.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the Western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
Welcome back. The Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, has launched new EC polymer notes throughout the sub-region as it declared that the dollar remains strong. The assurance of the dollar's strength came from ECCB Governor Dr. Timothy Antwine on Wednesday, and he explained that the decision to move to polymer is aimed at enhancing the security and usability of the EC notes, which will be phased in across the sub-regional states that the ECCB serves: Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat and Anguilla. The $10, $20 and $100 notes will be introduced around September this year. The $5 note will be issued sometime around September next year. Antwine explained that the existing paper notes and the new polymer notes will be in circulation at the same time.
And I want to assure you that they are both legal tender. So you don't need to rush to the bank and bring in your paper to get polymer. They will, and let's be clear, there is no point at this stage in destroying absolutely good paper notes. That would be wasteful and irresponsible. So we'll use them until their natural life ends and we'll replace them. So for a period of time, we will have both.
The launch of the polymer notes also saw the unveiling of a newly designed $50 note which bears the image of the late former ECCB Governor Sir Dwight Venner, who served in that capacity for 26 years. An encapsulated note was presented to Sir Dwight's widow, who also attended the launch. Grenada's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, who is also the chairman of the ECCB's Monetary Council, says Sir Dwight must be recognized for the tremendous contribution he made to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank and to the region as a whole. He also described the launch of the new polymer notes as historic.
The ECCB is the first central bank, if we didn't know it, in the Caribbean to issue an entire family of notes in polymer. This is therefore a significant achievement for the bank and by extension for all members of the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Today's launch of the new family of EC polymer notes provides a clear demonstration of the bank's leadership, innovation and commitment to protecting our currency.
The Bahamas government has presented a $2.62 billion budget to Parliament, outlining a series of tax relief and environmental protection measures. On Wednesday, Finance Minister Peter Turnquest announced duty reductions worth $28 million in revenue, mainly for educational supplies and equipment and household implements and goods. The government has also reduced the duty on musical instruments, allowed trailers for commercial fishing boats to be eligible for duty exemption, and amended the Spirits and Beer Manufacturer Act to make microbreweries eligible for import duty concessions. Measures to protect the environment were also introduced, including reducing the duty on new vehicles, harmonizing rates on new electric and hybrid vehicles, increasing the duty on biodegradable and compostable plastic shopping bags, and reducing the duty on reusable cloth shopping bags. Ahead in Newsline Sport, England win the 2019 ICC World Cup opener and a Barbadian fast bowler plays a big role in the victory. We'll have the details after the break.
Paul is one of the first beneficiaries of work, Women Organized for Real Kindness. The non-profit organization's mission is to exercise tangible acts of kindness. In Stephanie's case, members raised funds to present Miss Paul with a new refrigerator for her home. Founder and the director of work, Catherine Charles, says that the group's purpose is to support and motivate women.
News following the release of Country for Sale, Buju Banton's first track since being released from prison, the artist and his team are reportedly already looking to release an album within the next 3 months. Country for Sale shot to the top of the iTunes reggae chart, where it dislodged Coffee's Toast, and it has since been earning rave reviews from Buju Banton fans globally.
It was fun, ended prematurely, but it's fine.
It was really good. It was a really good vibe. I got here from about 4-ish.
Barbadian fast bowling sensation Jofra Archer made a dream World Cup debut on Thursday, snatching 3 wickets to help propel England to a dominant 104-run victory over South Africa in their tournament opener at the historic Oval in London. England's Ben Stokes top scored with 89 from 79 balls to rally the side to 311 for 8 after they were sent in. He put on 106 for the 4th wicket with captain Owen Morgan, who made 57 from 60 balls.
Oh yeah, I think he's got him. You beauty, and he's off. That is a throwdown. That was a drive ball.
Beautifully played by Jason Roy, just stands up.
This time it brings up Jason Roy's 50. This time through the onside. Will be a single, a bit of misfield. Brings up the 50 for Root. This time in the air. An easy catch at mid-off. And Feklukayo strikes. And they've got it.
As Morgan dances down the pitch and hits Ngidi straight over mid-off for 6.
Stokes now, will it carry? No, it just faded away from the man in the deep. Yep, just get that feeling. You can't bowl to Morgan. Doesn't time it, but he finds the gap. It could be 4, it is. And that is 50 for the England captain, Owen Morgan. Oh, what a way to go to 50.
Down the ground and taken.
Well, Archer finished with 3 for 27 from 7 overs, while fellow pacers Ben Stokes and Liam Plunkett also made telling strikes, sending South Africa tumbling to 207 all out in the 40th over.
South Africa, it's about batting well, playing to their strengths.
Shaw, this could be out. It is out. And what a strike that is into his slot.
The single takes him to 50, his 22nd ODI 50. Up and over, and he's done this beautifully. Does it go all the way? Yes, it does. And that's beautifully played. Eventually, Van der Dussen, he picks it, he gets to the pitch.
That's trouble. Huge trouble.
And he does have 50 now. What a start to international cricket. In the air, should just be taken at mid-on. England needed a wicket. Again on the sweep. Is it going to go over his head? Oh, no way! No way! That is one of the greatest catches of all time.
Gone! A clinical and devastating win against South Africa.
Meantime, fueled by a desire to prove their detractors wrong, a confident West Indies will launch an ambitious bid to win the ICC World Cup when they take on Pakistan at Trent Bridge on Friday. Written off before the start of the England series, the Caribbean side managed to pull off a 2-all draw, doing so with a bold, audacious brand of cricket not seen in recent years. The result also instilled a new level of self-belief in the squad, and there is now quiet confidence the Caribbean side can now put the lean years of underachievement behind them. Captain Jason Holder, leading West Indies for the 2nd straight World Cup, said the squad was settled and in a good place mentally heading into the opening clash against Pakistan. Back of a poor run of form that has seen them lose 13 of their last 18 ODIs. Earlier this month, they were creamed 4-0 in a 5-match series by host England. But Pakistan are lurching from mediocre to brilliant in the blink of an eye, and Holder said his team would be taking nothing for granted against them. The first ball bowls off at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time. That's 4:30 a.m. in Jamaica. While West Indies skipper Jason Holder was among 10 captains who took a break from team preparations on a Wednesday to meet the Queen and Prince Harry, as London erupted in colourful and musical celebrations to welcome Thursday's start of the 12th ICC World Cup. Holder joined his contemporaries at Buckingham Palace for the event on the final day before hostilities began in the cricket showpiece, which runs until July 14th. The skippers paraded before their flags on the Mall, the popular thoroughfare which leads to Buckingham Palace, where a massive celebration was held involving celebrities like great former West Indies captain Sir Vivian Richards and celebrated Jamaican Olympic sprinter Johan Blake. West Indies won the first two editions of the World Cup in 1975 and 1979 under legendary captain Clive Lloyd, but have failed to make an impression since. In the last World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, they were good enough to reach the quarterfinals of the tournament before bowing out to New Zealand. And finally, two-time reigning champions Trinbago Knight Riders will face 2017 losing finalists St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in the opening match of the Caribbean Premier League on September 4th. In fixtures announced this week by organizers, TKR will face Jamaica Talawas in a blockbuster 2 days later, which will bring the likes of Kieron Pollard and Sunil Narain against Chris Gale and Andre Russell. Last year's losing finalists, Guyana Amazon Warriors, clashed with Darren Sammy's St. Lucia Stars in their opening match on September 5th before taking on Patriots 2 days later. The 7th season of the CPL will feature 34 matches over 6 weeks in the tournament, which runs until October 12th. The CPL is the region's premier T20 tournament featuring domestic and international players competing for 6 franchises: TKR, Amazon Warriors, Patriots, Talawas, Stars and Barbados Tridents. The draft earlier this month featured a record number of players, pointing to continuing high interest in the Caribbean tournament. Matches have so far been confirmed for Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis and Trinidad and Tobago, but there has been no word yet on matches scheduled for Guyana. Well, that's the sport. We'll be right back.
I was late for today's shoot, and I have to be honest, it's because my good friends at Mazda dropped off one of these amazing new MX-5s. And wow, what a machine. It totally connects with my DNA. Sports car, top down, I mean, what a machine. I'll tell you, go drive one. It might make you late for a lot of things, too. So we're here back in Denver. We're here at my good friend Mike Boston's place, Elevation Motors, here in Lakewood. And I have to tell you, Mike and Andreas are great friends.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
So if you is a real one and a sight that I go make you know as I should. Now wait till you gone, just the royal, the lion.
Pase lo que pase, no te voy a llamar. Ya yo me quité, tú nunca me vas a amar.
Again, the major developments of this day: St. Kitts defends its citizenship by investment program amid a call from 2 European parliamentarians for an end to the visa-free status program afforded to St. Kitts and Nevis citizens because of abuse of the economic citizenship program. And in sport, Barbadian-born fast bowling sensation Jofra Archer plays a big role as England take a 104-run victory over South Africa in the ICC World Cup opener. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, subscribe to CanalNews.com, and for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.